getting a new look at the 200-acre Badger Lake fire. We're here on the south side. The fire is on the north side of Badger Lake. We'll give you an update on efforts to contain the fire tonight on KREM.
Financially making it. Like, that's the first hurdle I think most of us parents have to figure out.
We hear concerns from local Coeur d'Alene parents who wonder how they'll balance this hybrid model.
It was a hot day today, and excessive heat warnings continue into the evening hours. I am tracking some cooler weather, though, in your 10-day forecast.
The volumes will come up, the parcels are coming too. That's gonna make a really big difference.
The USPS remains at the center of controversy this week. How changes will impact locals. Coming up next. As the Badger Lake fire continues to burn, crews are now asking the public does not use the Badger Lake public water access at this time. Also, they say in general, avoid that area. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Mark Hanrahan.
And I'm Tom Sherry. Whitney is off tonight. While crews are still working to contain that Badger Lake fire in Cheney, the fire is threatening 50 to 70 homes. There is a level 3 evacuation order in place, but some families are refusing to leave their homes. Our Amanda Rowley is live at the Badger Lake fire right now. And Amanda, you're tracking the latest on the evacuations and the status of that fire.
That's right, Tom. Tonight, we're actually getting a new look for us here at Badger Lake of just how big the Badger Lake fire is. Now, we are on the south side of Badger Lake by a gracious property owner allowing us to get a look at just how things are going. Across the lake on the north side is where crews are battling that 244-acre fire. Along the ridge there, as you continue along on the north side of the lake, you can see this is the area where level 3 evacuations are in place. We have the Badger Estates as well as a cabin here on the north side. Some folks are actually choosing to not leave. Now, we talked to an owner, the one that's allowed us here on the property. She's been talking to the neighbor across the lake who's decided to stick around outside of the evacuations, and they've been talking via walkie-talkie. They're doing okay. Some other neighbors have been pulling up on boats nearby just to check on them as well. We asked the public information officer, Isabel Hoygaard, how fire officials have been communicating with these residents who are choosing to stay in the area. She says this is a unique situation.
So we've made contact with those crews. We've been providing them information. They're under a level 3 evacuation, so if they leave the area, they can't come back. So that's a lot of the reason why those people aren't leaving. So we're trying to provide them information so they can stay away from our crews and let them work to contain this fire.
Now, we didn't see any air support today, and Hoygaard says that is somewhat of a good sign because that means the fire is less active today. Now, the video you're seeing here of the helicopter, that was shot yesterday by Ellis Cobbs. Today, firefighters are instead focusing on ground control by checking the fire line and putting out hot spots. Now, there is still active flames, though, and that is why the level 3 evacuation order is still in place for Badger Estates and Cutthroat Road. Now, the good news is, though, fire officials believe if the work that they're doing today continues, they may be able to report at least 40% containment of this fire. They also hope by tomorrow to drop those level 3 evacuation orders down to a level 2, but of course we'll be keeping you updated on that. Reporting from Badger Lake, Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
All right, Amanda, thank you very much. We are also tracking 2 other wildfires burning in our region right now. The Taylor Pond fire in Yakima is 75% contained now and has burned nearly 25,000 acres. Crews just reduced that acreage number due to better GPS mapping, they say. Level 1 evacuation orders are in place for the Wanapum Village. That means be alert. The fire started after a lightning strike. Meantime, over in Whitman County, the Chief Timothy fire west of Clarkston is now 30% contained. It's burned 1,400 acres so far. Authorities believe the fire was started by an RV on Sunday. That RV was along Hawaii Road when it caught fire, and then the flames spread up the hillside. No evacuations are in place at this time. On that note, let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Tom Sherry. Tom, certainly another warm one out there today. Last night we were tracking the potential for some thunderstorms. Are we concerned about that at all today?
Well, we still are down in areas of northeastern Oregon and north central Washington. That's why we have a fire weather watch in effect in this area right here because of potential lightning. And there is a slight chance, meaning about a 20% probability of some passing lightning storms in the Spokane area as well for the evening hours. And the excessive heat warning, as you can see everywhere, you see shaded in purple right here, that is continuing until 8 o'clock tonight. We're still going to see temperatures tomorrow in the 90s, but it won't be as warm as what we saw today. Gosh, out where we were just looking, talking to our Amanda Rowley, it is 98 degrees out there where the firefighters are just battling that fire. Thankfully, the wind is still in the single digits. If it were gusting up into those 25, 30 mile per hour range, this thing could turn much worse than it is right now. But again, very, very hot conditions for firefighters out in that area. Well, heck, it's hot everywhere you look. It's 101 degrees in Ritzville, 103 in Moses Lake, 103 right now in Othello. Up in Omak in the Okanagan Valley, you're at 102 degrees, 96 in Deer Park, Kettle Falls at 96, and also 88 degrees in Sandpoint, 104 down in Pomeroy. We'll look for, again, partly cloudy skies this evening. We'll go from 90s to 80s. Slight chance of thunderstorms tonight. We do not want that to happen because we just don't need anything that could start more wildfires. Then overnight, we'll see a low of 65. Not as hot tomorrow, but still hot. We'll look for partly cloudy skies and a daytime high of 93. You know me, I'm always looking ahead to the weekend. I've got mid 80s on Saturday and mostly sunny and 90 on Sunday. I'll check the rest of your 7-day forecast coming up in a few minutes.
The thing that's like most urgent is still being to provide a place to live because it's impacting parents' jobs.
The Coeur d'Alene School District recently announced their plans for classes this year. They're going to be a mix of in-person and virtual learning, and that has some parents concerned. KREM 2's Brandon Jones spoke to some parents wondering if they can balance both.
Before school starts back up in the fall, most parents are just trying to figure out how they'll make it work.
One way or the other, it's a huge impact on our families.
Scott Nebdahl and his fiance have a 6-year-old son going into the first grade, and the recent announcement from Coeur d'Alene schools is something they're not really sold on. Students will be taking virtual classes 3 days out of the week while being in person for the other 2 days.
Even if we do find childcare that will take them, well, are they going to be following social distancing too at the daycare? And it's like now the daycare workers have to get the kids all in class.
There's been a list of questions that have weighed heavy on his mind, but the most urgent one being how they'll handle this situation financially. Both parents work full-time jobs and their son isn't old enough to stay by himself. Now they're in a position of hoping their jobs allow them to make the proper adjustments.
There's just a lot of stuff that's not laid out yet, and I don't know if it's they don't know or they're making it up as they go, which probably is a little bit of both.
When school begins September 14th, students whose last names begin with A through K will have their in-person classes on Monday and Tuesday. L through Z will attend on Thursday and Friday. Scott told me he's interested in seeing how the schools will handle any potential COVID cases that pop up. He's worried that young children don't understand how to keep their distance from one another.
Like, I would think there'd be lots of people that don't have a support system, someone that can watch their kid. I can't, especially in COVID.
From Coeur d'Alene, Brandon T. Jones, KREM 2 News.
Well, we are committed to bringing you the latest information on everything back to school. The Post Falls School District is voting right now on how school will look for those students in the fall. The meeting just started at the top of the hour. They're discussing 4 different plans. Here's the breakdown. They have a green plan. That happens when there's no evidence of outbreaks. Students will attend full-time school in accordance with health guidance. That includes wearing masks as well as routinely cleaning and disinfecting schools. An online option will also be available for students. And then there is the yellow plan. That's where there is some community spread or sustained transmission. Then students will attend school full-time, and students will follow guidance from Panhandle Health. Social distancing in place when possible, such as desk arrangements. Field trips, though, will not be allowed, and lunchtimes may be staggered, and masks will be required on the buses. And then there's the orange plan. That happens when there is widespread transmission occurring. Schools will shift to an alternate day hybrid schedule. Learning will be part-time in school and part-time at home. And finally, under the red plan, that's where there is large-scale community transmission. Schools will shift to remote learning based on extreme conditions as a result of local or stay-at-home orders. Well, coming up on KREM 2 News at 6 o'clock, we'll update you on that Post Falls School District decision. In the meantime, for other local districts reopening plans, we've got you covered. Just text district to 509-448-2000. Meanwhile, tonight, Spokane Public Schools is hosting a webinar for families with special needs students. Parents will learn about the reopening plan as well as which students will be eligible for in-person services. That starts at 6:30 tonight.